All right, so we looked at the fill bucket. I want to take a moment and work with the gradient tool and work with the magic wand tool and the free transform tool. All right. Now, first things first, let's do this. Let's use the gradient tool to give you some understanding of how the magic wand works. All right. So what I want to do is make a new layer. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click the make new layer button and make a blank layer. And this time, instead of deploying my fill bucket, what I want to do is create a gradient. So a gradient is a color that transitions to one or more colors. And there are lots of different ways to deploy gradients. One, if I click right here, it brings up the gradient editor. And this is where I make my own custom gradients. And we'll come back and I'll take you through this menu later, how to create a custom gradient, okay? Then there are preset gradients. And the whole idea with these presets that you see in here, really the idea is very simple. They're placeholders. And the idea is that you're going to want to create your own gradients, your own brushes, your own quick layers, masks, and so on, right? If I click this tab right here, it shows me the presets. And I want to bring you to your attention the first two. The first gradient preset right here happens to be whatever two colors are loaded in the foreground and the background. The next one after that is the foreground transitioning into a transparency. So right now, we're going to mix what's called a two-step gradient. So I'm going to click into the foreground and choose a color. Then I'm going to click into the background swatch and choose a color. And when I look up here, you'll see that that is the gradient that I've created. I'm transitioning from that foreground color to that background color. Then I have different ways of deploying the gradient. One is a linear gradient. So that I just click and drag with my mouse. So whichever direction I click and drag, this is the direction that that gradient is going to go. Okay. If I pull short, the transition between the two colors will be sharp. If I pull long, the transition will be smooth. Now, in each case, what I'm doing is I'm painting over the other application. Let's go to the next tool. Next tool is a gradient that goes from the center out, concentric circle. The next one is a band. Next one after that is a double banded gradient. And then the last one is like this diamond. So that's how I apply a gradient. For this exercise, I want to grab that first tool, the linear gradient tool, and make a smooth transition from one color to the next. And the reason why I'm doing this is that I want to explain to you how the magic wand works. So let's go over and let's click on the magic wand. So the magic wand makes a selection based on a color. And what it does is it has a tolerance, and it grabs as many colors outside of that tolerance as it can. And by increasing the tolerance, I can increase the number of colors that it grabs. So right now the tolerance is set to 11. When I click, you'll see that I click on a certain color, it's going to grab as many of those colors as it can. And then when the colors become too different, it stops. I'm going to go up to select and choose deselect. I'm going to take that tolerance and I'm going to set it to 33 and click in the same area. And as you may have guessed, the amount that the tool grabs, and remember that we're making a selection, and the idea is that this part of the image is the part that we want to edit, has increased based on the transition of that gradient. Let's go to select and choose deselect. Let's set the tolerance to 66. You can use any number you want. I'm going to click in the same area. And as you can see here, it's grabbed a larger region, right? I'm going to go to select and choose deselect. So what we're doing here is we're learning how to use the gradient tool. We learned how to do a two-step gradient. We learned the properties of the magic wand tool, which uses a tolerance. And the idea is that it's going to grab a number of colors next to whichever color you clicked on, and that's going to expand the selection. And the next thing I want to talk about is the free transform tool. So I'm going to go up to edit, and I'm going to apply something called free transform. So what free transform allows me to do is to resize, rescale this document, okay? And by default, there's a little link symbol by default, which links the width and the height together. And the transform has been applied to the whole layer because the whole layer was selected. I'm going to click cancel. I'm going to turn off this top layer, make the bottom layer active. I'm going to turn off all the other layers. So we're only looking at the content inside of this layer. I'm going to go to edit and choose free transform. And you'll see that the handles snap onto the image. So whichever layer is active, if I apply a free transform, it's going to snap to the content in that layer. Notice that the content of the layer actually goes outside of the edges of the canvas itself. I'm going to click cancel. If I make a selection inside of this document and then go up to edit and choose free transform, it's going to snap onto that. All right, so there's lots of different ways. I'm going to select and deselect. Lots of ways that I can apply that free transform. I'm going to go back up to the top layer. I'm going to make it selected. I'm going to make that the active layer. I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to choose free transform. So now I have the transformation handles. If I want to control the image and resize it, I can grab it from the corner, and it's going to proportionately scale that image up or down, up or down. After I've scaled it, I can click inside and I can move it around. If I'm happy with the transformation, I click the commit button. If I am not happy with the transformation, I click the cancel button. I'm going to click the cancel button. I'm going to apply the free transform again. Edit, free transform. Now, if I make more than one edit, I'm stuck with one of them. I can't undo. I can only undo one. Let's go to edit. Let's go to free transform. I can also grab it from the sides. Now, let's show you this. If I unlock the maintain aspect ratio button, I can transform this freely. So I'm not transforming it, and I'm not conforming it to the original or the initial proportions of the image. I'm going to click cancel. So I can choose that edit free transform to resize, rescale image pixels. I'm going to put the lock symbol on. I'm going to scale it inwards. In addition to rescaling and resizing, I can also rotate. If I take my cursor and move it outside of the shape, I get this double arrow, and I can rotate the shape. Okay. So I can resize, rescale, and rotate. I'm going to click the cancel button. I'm going to go up to edit. I'm going to choose free transform. I'm going to scale it in. If I grab the corner and hold down the control or command key, I can distort. I can grab it and distort it. So I can do all of that with my free transform tool. When I'm done, I click the commit button, and that commits the transformation. Let's stop here.